While the Xbox showcase was great, I can't help but feel that showing games including Flight Simulator 2024, Stalker 2, Perfect Dark, running at 60 FPS with pristine image quality is misleading. Are we actually going to have this experience on the Xbox Series X, or is Microsoft secretly showing PC versions of the games? John?
I think they're secretly showing PC versions of games. I don't know. This is tricky, actually. I would say, though, in the case of Perfect Dark specifically, since I'm looking closely at that, that's one where, I mean, it's clearly a vertical slice piece, but that definitely does not have pristine image quality, nor does it actually run at a perfect 60 FPS, which actually makes it feel a little bit more realistic. I'll say it in the video, of course, but the resolution is not 4K most of the time anyway. And also the frame rate, especially as things heat up, it starts to dip into the 50s. It's too compressed to run through our tools necessarily, but just going frame by frame, there's plenty of duplicate frames that appear in that footage. So it's definitely dipping. And there's also some things where, like, I was kind of joking with Alex, like they do like a flash grenade kind of thing at one point. And during that huge flash, because it's like a drastic change between one frame to the next, it sort of breaks the TAA apart, and you can really see the image quality kind of crumble. But that also allows you to see, like, oh, this is the actual pixel count currently in use. And it highlights some of the limitations, like a lot of the dynamic lights when they show up, they're not shadow casting, for instance. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in that feels conservative enough where I could say, like, hey, that's possibly, like, they could have made that trailer using a console. Like, I might still question that just because it is probably easier to make such a trailer on a PC directly, just in terms of like production of the asset itself. But there's nothing about it that says, oh yeah, this wouldn't work on an Xbox. It absolutely feels legit.
Okay.
Stalker 2 though, Flight Sim, stuff like that, very likely those were made on PC, I would say, if I had to guess. I mean, Alex, what do you think?
100%.
Yeah.
They were made on a PC. And I would just like to say that in the past, I think it's a little bit annoying from Microsoft to show off PC footage and just keep using this Xbox phrase everywhere. And like the way they talk about PC is a bit like, it just makes us a lot of money and it's actually super important. But the real thing we got to care about is the console fanboy feelings. So everything's got to be Xbox focused. Like, I do find it a bit annoying considering how PC is Microsoft's bread and butter, that they don't like explicitly talk about it nearly enough as I really wish they would, because PC gamers are excited about their platform. They love it. And then it just always being like the second bullet point on a list in a bunch of stuff and not being expressly targeted, like in a way, like with messaging, I find that just like a bit annoying. After it's been like this for like 10 years now, or even longer. Like obviously during the 360 period, it was way different. But you know, like now they've released everything on PC. They got to start talking about it in a way that's like super exciting, especially if the next Xbox is more like a PC, right? So I think they gotta get that hype about PC, because Flight Sim is super hype on PC. People love that game.
Yeah.
You know, so hype it up. Be like, this game is gonna crush your PC. It's gonna look gorgeous. You've never seen it before in your life. And say, dude, be out there about it. Be about PC. It's fun.
I will say though, from what I've understood of the process for submitting things to the other manufacturers, there are much stricter requirements on this. Like, I think for Sony, you really have to be very clear what the version is in that video. So if it is PC, it needs to be labeled as such. And I believe Nintendo is so strict that you have to show Switch footage. You're not technically supposed to show anything other than actual Switch capture. And Funny. If you do, you're basically breaking their what they requirements.
Somewhat ironic, bearing in mind some of their antics.
Yes,
I know what you mean, but yeah, that's what they seem to require from third parties when you get shown in like a Nintendo Direct or something. It's like you need to be able to. It needs to be legit Switch footage.
Right. It needs to be a...
and if it's not, well, you better hope that they think it is, I guess.
I'd just like to see a little caption pop up at the bottom, a disclosure caption that just says, too big for Switch.
Yeah.
Too big for Switch.
Quote. Question mark.
Well, we've been saying this for years now. I mean, Microsoft every year seems to be edging ever closer to actual proper disclosure. I mean, this year they were talking about, in-game, in-engine, whatnot. But, Sony just know what they're doing with it. Everything has to be captured on a PlayStation 5, and if not, they tell you. Even to the point where, stuff that looks like gameplay but isn't gameplay, you get a little caption that pops up saying not actual gameplay. This is done presumably for legal reasons.
Right.
And I would suspect that at some point somebody is going to get pulled up on it for misrepresentation if they don't do this. So Microsoft, please be a bit more accurate in your descriptions about what we're seeing. And I really do want to see an end to the whole in-game shtick, because it's not great, shall we say. Yeah.
And the ray tracing shenanigans too with the stuff
that bothers me so much.
Stop it! The games look good enough as is. You don't need to keep adding ray tracing features that aren't in the game like that.
Yeah,
or just add them to the game. I mean,
or just add them to the game.
It's in the engine, right? But just throw it in the game. Put it experimental.
Put it in there.
Who cares?
For PC at least, right?
In engine, yes. But to get to the actual point, yes, if you've got a game running on PC, I think it's absolutely fine to show it running on PC, but say that it's running on PC. What's the problem?